Hello, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. Thank you for your time. Normally, when I record a video message, it is to share information about the services that I provide. I'm normally talking about how to start, fund, manage, sustain, or reinstate organizations. I'm talking about grant writing skills, or I'm talking about how I help people across the country establish 501c3 nonprofit organizations. But today's message is different. Like so many people across the entire world, my emotional well-being was shocked from the video that I watched, seeing Mr. George Floyd lose his life. As you can see, I'm a Black woman. I was born and raised in South Carolina, so I know what racism is. I've experienced it myself. And like so many other people, I've seen horrific events on video that pertain to Black people. I am sort of a Black historian. I like to think so anyway. So I've read about our history. But it was just something about seeing Mr. George Floyd literally lose his life in a matter of minutes because a racist white cop thought it was okay to pin him down with a knee on his back for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, listening to him plead for his life while having his hands in his pockets and seemingly looking into the camera with an attitude of, so what? That moved me to the point where, in addition to what I feel I already contribute to the Black community, I wanted to take action by investing, by putting money behind a cause to make a difference in some kind of way. My first thought was to invest in Black Lives Matter. And that's why I recorded this video. I want to tell you about my experience with my attempt to invest in Black Lives Matter. My first step was to go to blacklivesmatter.org because working in the nonprofit sector, I know that most legitimate nonprofit organizations use the .org extension on the domain. When I went to blacklivesmatter.org, I don't know what it is. I really don't know. It looks like something that somebody just purchased the domain and never put any content on the website. So I went to blacklivesmatter.com, and that's where the Black Lives Matter LA is pointing to. The Black Lives Matter LA is blacklivesmatter.com. You follow me so far? Okay, that's how I felt too. I'm like, okay, I'm having to jump through too many hoops just to get to where I need. That's a red flag for me. So I went to the site and I read about the information on the site, and I said, okay, I'm still thinking that Black Lives Matter is an official organization. And when I say I'm thinking it's an official organization, I mean, I'm thinking that, okay, there has to be some type of structure, like a hierarchy structure to this organization, because so many people are galvanizing around Black Lives Matter. So I assumed it had to have some type of structure. So when I went to donate, I clicked on donate, it took me to a link for Act Blue, ACTBLUE. So I'm like, what is this about? I learned that Act Blue is like a pass-through organization for grassroots organizations to accept donations. That's when I paused. I said, I'm having to go through too much here. This is too much clutter. This should be a seamless process. So I started learning more information about Black Lives Matter by reading the information on the website than I ever knew, because honestly, I never studied it. I just know about the slogan, Black Lives Matter. Black lives do matter. I'm behind that 100%. But let me tell you what concerns me. What concerns me is the lack of financial transparency. There is no transparency about where money is going that people donate for Black Lives Matter. That's my concern. Now, the Black Lives Matter LA has a GoFundMe account, right? The last time I checked, it had raised $1.9 million since Mr. Floyd was killed on May 25th. Because people are like me. They want to contribute. They want to help. But they think their money is going to good causes, like I would have thought. But I'm like, where is the money going? There is no clear explanation of how money is used through Black Lives Matter. Now, on this website, blacklivesmatter.com, there is a list of chapters across the United States for Black Lives Matter. So I did my homework and I clicked on each link for each chapter, and every chapter seemingly operates in a different way. I went to irs.gov because if you want to know the legitimacy of a nonprofit organization, go to irs.gov and then search for exempt organization search. I'm sorry, tax exempt organization search. Type in the name of the organization and the IRS will let you know the status of those organizations. 5 of the organizations have a revoked status. That means they did not file official Form 990 information returns for 3 consecutive years. So this is what I've decided to do. I want to make a contribution. And I wanted to make a financial contribution. And I'm going to find a way to make a financial contribution directly to George Floyd's family. Before I do that, or simultaneously rather, I'm going to investigate each chapter of Black Lives Matter. All entities that I find with the Black Lives Matter banner, if you will, as the name of the entity, I'm going to investigate it, because not only are there chapters listed for Black Lives Matter, there are other entities that are not listed as chapters, which makes it even more confusing for the investor, for the people like me who want their money to go where it's supposed to go. And right now, based on my research, I don't know where the money is going. So I'm going to take that upon myself. I'm going to post my research results for each chapter, each entity that operates under the Black Lives Matter name. So for example, there will be a video for Black Lives Matter Greater Atlanta, Black Lives Matter DC, Black Lives Matter California. I'm going to have videos, short videos for each one of those entities to share my results with you, because I think people need to know where the money is going, but I also think they need to know how the organization is structured. Now, For people who may say, well, why is this Black woman trying to create problems for Black Lives Matter? This is my answer to your question. I'm not. As a matter of fact, if Black Lives Matter is structured correctly, I couldn't create problems for it if I tried. So get that notion out of your head. I'm trying to hold them accountable for the millions of dollars they are raising using that name. Black Lives Matter is a name that galvanizes people together across the world. And that's important. And I commend them for that. Even though the original founders did not plan for this to happen, and that's what they admit, they did not plan for this to happen. One of them just used it as a hashtag after George Zimmerman was acquitted for murdering Trayvon Martin, and it just picked up momentum from that. I don't have a problem with that. I'm glad to see people galvanizing around the name Black Lives Matter. But I have a major problem with them generating revenues, raising money, and not being transparent about where the money goes. I have a problem with that. And I'm going to work on that. That's going to be my contribution to this fight, to make sure that Black Lives Matter uses the money the right way. So I'm asking Black Lives Matter, where is the money? I reached out to the person who started the GoFundMe account for Black Lives Matter LA. I sent her a message directly on the GoFundMe account, and I asked her, where is the money going? I haven't heard back from her. So my first steps, once again, will be to create separate videos that focus on each entity that I find that uses Black Lives Matter to operate. And I'm going to report on their lack of financial transparency. That's my cause. That's what I'm doing to fight this fight. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel here. And I also invite you to click on the bell so that you can receive a notification whenever I upload video messages, because I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I promise you that, because I cannot stand the thought of anyone exploiting Mr. George Floyd's horrendous death for profit. I won't stand for that. I won't stand for that. And if you have the desire to believe that I'm doing this for malicious intent, that is your choice. I don't have time for that foolishness. I'm not going to follow up with that. So again, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. Thank you for your time. Stay tuned for these updates that I'm going to post very, very soon. My website is www.trustsusanwoods.com. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.